Up, got a Twosun, and it's kind of big. It's heavy, bulging, decent spinner. I mean, you know they're good spinners when they're big because they bulge these boxes, would create a high point, and then they spin pretty good. Anyways, enough of that nonsense. Okay, wow, look at this thing. It's a newer model. Yep, hadn't been here long. My trusty little Echo. I'm gonna try to save the plastic so that I can get rid of the oily plastic and not the. Yeah, that's not happening. We'll just dig in here. Who cares? It's just plastic, man. Acting like it matters somehow. Man, this is a big one. It's got like, I'm not sure what Twosun's calling those scales. But it's like an ultim scale, right? I mean, wow, already touching it. It is super grippy. Here. Full titanium. Is this a Mazwan knife? I mean, it looks like somebody wanted to put a ball on there, but they didn't. They actually ramped that pocket clip. Pretty cool. Wow, look at this frag pattern on these titanium. It's got titanium liners, which creates this titanium bolster, and then it's got this. I mean, I'm gonna have to look and see what they call that, so I'm not just keep calling it something it's not. But let's get that blade out so we can look at that. Ooh, and then I can go see what they're calling that scale material. This is a ts461 in M390. I mean, y'all get a good look. Let me see what that scale material is called. Yeah, that's why I looked. They call it something else. They call it, it's not Ultim to them. It's called PEI. Yeah. Plastic enhanced. I don't know, man. I don't know what it stands for. But they call it PEI. It's got my favorite big pointy thumb studs on it that protrude beyond the body. Not so bad on this knife, but they do stick out from the body. I did find that they're pretty easy to modify on my end. I can modify these and knock that down a little bit. Wouldn't take much on this one to knock those down. Yeah, like maybe the top, just the very top, to get that down even with the scales. Really nice, smooth, buttery smooth action. Lanyard hole. Really super grippy. Even the frag is cut nice. It's grippy. It's wonderful. Nice tension on the clip. Blade centered. Of course, Twosun, good fit and finish on, all the materials. Like, it's hard to just find a flaw in one of these knives, where you go, oh, that was mated poorly, or these don't even match, there's gaps or whatever. Like, you just don't find that in these Twosun knives. All of the cut lines for the frame lock, everything's done really well on these. It's a night morning design. And it wasn't too superly overly oiled, you know. I mean, it had some, but it wasn't crazy. Man, let's get in it. Let's check it in. Nice tall flat grind on this blade. TH looks like it's going to be across the board. Cautionary tale, if you're disassembling this PI or Ultim, any of that stuff, that is not material to be cranked down upon. You find yourself with a cracked scale. You can't crack that stuff. It's like, I mean, you'd want to treat it like you're working with a wood scale. You know, and I say it like that because, you know, for some reason I talk about cracking that material and then the comments start going, that's why I wouldn't get it. Well, it's just like a wood scale. I mean, you know, it's not a titanium scale. It's not a steel scale. It's not even G10. G10's some pretty tough stuff, you know. We're kind of, I'm guessing the stop pin is kind of stuck in the scale. I might have to get my little pry bar. I don't have to, but it makes things a lot easier if I just... Yeah, it's really stuck. Really stuck. There it goes. Just had to get the right leverage point. Yep, come right out of there. Standard bearings. And it's stuck on that side too. And we're a little oily in here, so we'll wipe it all down. Let's get these racetrack washers out. There we go. Okay. Towel time. Not tool time. Tool time with Tim. Towel time with Tim. Yeah, beautiful blade. Stone washed. Wonderful. Nice scale. A slight amount of skeletonizing, but on the top where the bolster basic section is, where it's been fragged. But the reason for that is because in this bottom portion, it's been reliefed on the front for the PEI scale insert to sit on top. And so they can't, they can't thin that out on the back because it's been thinned out in the front, right? So ultimately, super light right here. Holding the scale, it's not substantial at all. So, there's something to be said. It's like, well, they should have just made it, because they had to mill all that titanium off of there, right? Like they should have just made it that frag pattern, that whole scale, and then skeletonized it on the back side. I mean, yeah, there's probably something to be said for that. Would that have been desirable? I think so. Yeah, I think people would have looked at that and went, yeah, I want that frag pattern through that whole scale. I'm not a hater of this PEI stuff, though. I mean, it's okay. I did the Ultim version. I did recently try to dye that stuff. The Ultim, it's, the brand of it's Ultim and not this PEI. I think it's the exact same stuff, though. It's like injected plastic or something, is what it is. But it does not dye. It didn't take that purple dye at all. I say at all. I think it did tint it slightly. Now, 100%, this lock bar is way oversprung. Way, 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 way oversprung. You can see the CNC pattern around it. You see it? Where they milled that down. I'm going to take a little bit of tension off this lock bar. Although it's awful thin. Like, it's not creating a mountain of tension. But I did take just the tiniest little bit off of it. I'm not scared. Worst case, I got to put some back. And it's easy to put back. I won't have to remove the insert or do none of that. I'll just have to pull this scale, and then I can flip that over. Small parts. My kind of pivot. It's not machined on the one side, makes it look like a rivet. It's not machined to take a Torx bit. You know, when they're locked like that, there's no reason for that. I mean, it's a much cleaner look to just do this rivet, so I'm a fan. I like it. I need to pull this other collar. I think the inside had more oil than the outside. There's quite a bit of cleanup work here. Let's get this off and then we'll wipe that out real quick too. You know, here's the thing with all that oil, man. If you're not getting in these and cleaning that out, that all that inside oil ends up on the outside of the knife. It just works its way out and squeezes its way out when you grip the knife, all that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, did I get it perfectly clean? No, but man, what an improvement over where it was. You know what I mean? Like it was soaking wet on the inside here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this screw on this scale. Help hold that scale on. I don't think it has to go on yet. It could be, I believe it. Well, no, it has to get those tube spacer nuts in here. I gotta have that on. That's kind of neat. I'm looking at this back spacer and how it creates the lanyard hole, and the scale actually rises up inside there slightly. That's pretty cool. I don't know. Interesting little feature I noticed. I need that and this. There we go. I think we're in the home stretch. I mean, they actually did work pretty hard to get this skeletonized and reduce weight. They even took this little chunk out here to, I mean, the only purpose of taking that out is to reduce weight, you know? Where's my oil? Oil. I feel like I'm calling my dog or something. One of my big attack dogs out in the yard. All right, here we go. The thumb stud is hitting the bench, so it's not spinning very freely, but that's okay. We all know what's up. Yeah, man. Oh, collar. Nice. Yeah, I like it. They're doing these collars flat now. They used to be, had like a contour on them. And now they're flat. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, that lock bar didn't need to be near where it was. Interesting. But I don't think I can test it until I put this on. I won't really know if it's correct until I get a couple of these screws in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this scale screw in first. The one that goes through to the other side. And I think it will firm up the knife. Yeah. Let me run that action. Ooh, this thing's going to be a guillotine. Yeah. It's got a little rock in it. I felt it right there. Yeah, still a guillotine. Oh my goodness. Solid as a rock now. And it's a complete guillotine. Good grief. I mean, I did mess with this lock bar, so let me prove it to myself that it's not going to fail. Yeah, no, I mean, it's 40% across the back of that blade. It's not going anywhere, but golly. I mean, this one might be reaching for the top of the charts, man, as far as that action. It is superb. Yeah, so bear in mind what I'm saying about this Ultim stuff, or PEI. Definitely do not want to over tighten. These are snug onlys, right? Like, it wouldn't even hurt my feelings if all this was held on with T6s, just because of the limited torque that a T6 would provide over these T8s. Oh my goodness. This thing, wow. Huge, not huge, but big knife. It's a large piece, and it is fairly light. I mean, the center of balance is just slightly behind the pivot, like right in here, and you can feel it when you pick it up. All of the weight is here. This is really light back here, and ultimately the knife is light. It doesn't bear the weight that the size of this knife would dictate. I mean, they did a great job by putting this material here. It stripped off a ton of titanium, and then even these front like bolster areas are skeletonized. So yeah, in the end, very light knife, and it's a guillotine. Wow, look at this thing. So on this action, I mean, I'm not going to give it an A minus. I'm going to give it an A, and I'm going to take the A plus off of it because I'm going to penalize it the plus for those thumb studs sticking out beyond the knife. If those were narrowed and evened up with the side, I would have gave it an A plus. I had to put something on these thumb studs because they're just it doesn't make any sense. Like if you put this in your pocket, this one's poking your leg or your butt in my case because I carry in my back pocket. So this, let's see, this one would be up against my butt, or this one will be up against your leg if you carry in your right hand pocket with this right hand clip. This one would be poking your leg, and then this one's poking your pants. This one's poking your pants, and so it leaves you with a dimple sticking out of your pocket. And so and this knife is so smooth, it doesn't need these big, huge thumb studs. It's time to it's time to reinvent the thumb stud. Like a beautifully designed knife. These thumb studs been going on Twosun knives for a long time. I have models that go way back in this same thumb stud. Let's redesign this. We don't, and it doesn't have to be a great big round thing. Like spend a little bit of time and produce a good, well-functioning thumb stud that has a lower profile. Like it could be half that big and it would work. Yeah. So I'm going to penalize the action for that thumb stud. I would have called it an A plus, but it's only going to get an A because those thumb studs are ridiculously big. They're way too big. Do they function? Yes. Like if I'm just grading a thumb stud on the thumb stud, the thumb stud functionality is really, really good, but they're too big. They're going to poke my leg or my butt, and they're going to poke my pants on the other side. And so when you pull out, it's dragging against both, you know, and it's not sharp like a razor, but it's sharp enough it's going to drag. And I'm going to illustrate it when we put this in the pocket to test that pocket clip. Let's talk about ergonomics. So nice jimping on the spine here. It's not quite combat jimping, but man, it's sufficient. It's good. Excellent ergonomics on the scales. The fingers just fall in place here and here. Nice finger guard, you know, not so confident, confident, very confident. This knife swoops right up to the top of that scale. Very confident grip. It does have a choke up that's really nice that does not compromise the main grip. You know, so if you like to choke up, this one's got it, man. It's got a great choke up here for slicing or detail work or what, you know, whatever all that is. Yeah, wonderful ergonomics. Excellent reverse grip, great place to cap the thumb, lots of power coming down. And then, of course, I'm happy because I can turn that around and really lock in here so that if I want to hammer fist that down, I can do it right here. Much rather go here than here. Yeah. Nice, very nice. Let's check the pocket clip. Pocket clip looks to have a couple of good ramps on it, one going in, one coming out. It's got, it seems like sufficient room, and it's got nice tension. So let's see how it does. I'm suspecting it's going to do well. Run out of room just slightly. I think if I do it again, it'll run this time. I think it's going to go better this time. Usually the second time runs way smoother. Yeah, better. So it'll run on the thick stuff, leaves an interesting profile. About a little more than 1/4 of an inch sticking out. Good looking pocket clip, excellent tension. And so it's going to retain in the pocket very well. It's a dryer clip on a big knife, which says a lot. This is standard jean size material. Let's check it here. Yeah, good tension. Not quite a dryer clip down here in this standard material. My back pocket, it's got this doubled up material, sort of. It's holding really well there. I think it would shake out, though. Like if I ran or tumbled, I think I could expect the knife. See how it's trying to creep its way out? I think I could expect it to ultimately come out. And so now let me address this pocket thing, what I'm talking about. So if I put this in my pocket with that thumb stud, there it is right there. So it's poking against the pants here, and then it's poking against my leg on the other side. On the back side, it's poking my leg. And so, I mean, when designing a thumb stud, I'm not a knife designer, but when designing a thumb stud, like, listen, I have another Twosun right here. And these thumb studs are big. This is an older Twosun. Big thumb studs. What a unique, wonderful piece here. Watch for a video on this one coming. But the thumb studs are much flatter, not pokey, and pretty much even with the scale. So like if you look at the top-down profile here, you can't see the scale. You can't see the thumb stud. You see what I'm saying? And so low profile, and these work wonderfully. Like the goal isn't to make the biggest, most crown, obvious looking thumb stud. It's like make it functional, but then you don't want it pokey. So I beat that horse to death in this video. But it, you know, to me, it just costs the knife overall. Now, can I customize it? I can. Will I? No, I don't. I don't customize these Twosuns anymore, man. I mean, they're part of a collection. This is the way it come out. So this is the way it's gonna. This is the way it's gonna be stored and kept. Um, yeah, it's just too bad. I mean, it takes marks off the knife, in my opinion. So, safety. Yeah, no blade contact through the back of the scales. Whoo, that tip is close, man. Wow, look at how close that tip is. But I can't get it. So the tip's good. The clip is good. And I'm confident that I can handle this knife in any way and not contact the sharp parts. Yeah, good. Speaking of sharp parts, and this is that tough paper, man. Super thin magazine paper. It'll reveal a bad sharpening. I mean, I think this one can use a strop. I think we can improve on it. And so let me just run it real quick. I'm going to high angle. I don't want to get into the stonewash of the blade itself. I just want to be on the very grind. Just a couple of light passes. Yeah, see, I don't want to get up onto this stonewash because it'll make that part cloudy on the knife. And if you've ever bought a used knife and you see that cloudiness, it's like, well, there's a good chance that whoever you bought the knife from did that, because I don't think most factories strop their knife like that. And so if you're finding that, somebody put a strop on it and they just got that angle too low. Like if I came down here like this, yeah, would I be getting that edge? Yeah, but I'd also be getting the stonewash blade. And on a new knife like this, I don't want to do that. I don't mind trying to get a burr off of the very edge of the knife, but I don't want to mar this stonewash on the blade at all. All right, let's check it now. A couple of passes. Yeah, much better. It just needed a strop. Crazy sharp. Good job. And that stupid paper, man, it'll reveal. Ooh. All right. All right, price and availability. Where are they and how much? So, I don't run across this much, but this one, I'm going to say the pricing's kind of a shocker on this one because it is such a nice piece. It's very lightweight, titanium, M390, big flat grind blade. It's a large knife and confident grip, excellent choke up. I mean, I'm not a big choke up person, but it's got excellent choke up. Everything on it is grippy, and it's got. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's got A+ action. It's just got, these thumb studs are ridiculous. That's all. But everything else about it, and the bottom has fallen out of this knife as far as pricing. Currently, there's a live auction. The sixleaf seller has a listing for this knife that's asking $149 for it, or best offer. So, based on that, could you get it down below 140? I mean, maybe. I don't want to speak for that seller. I don't know, but 149 or best offer. But here's what I'm seeing. So these commanded some pretty good money for a minute, and then the bottom fell out of them, and the going price on these right now is below $100. So can you pick one up for $90? Maybe. Can you pick one up at auction for $80? Maybe. I mean, honestly, speaking for myself, I mean, can you get one of these down around $70? It's possible. And I don't say this often, but that is way too cheap for this knife. I mean, is this knife worth $100? To me, absolutely it is. This is a really nice titanium knife with M390 steel. Now, maybe it's this PEI, this insert in it. Now, if they'd have made it full titanium, just put this frag pattern on it, this thing would probably sell for $160, $170. It could be this PEI that's got everybody going, yeah, it's not even $100 knife. I'm going to pay less than that for it. That's possible. But here's what I would tell you. It's a really good knife. And if you can get one for under $100, I mean, if you carry a large knife, would I carry this knife? I mean, for $70, I don't know how many knives I'd have that are better than this for $70. Notwithstanding the thumb stud, man, poking me in the butt. I don't want to be poked in the butt. All right. Hey, I appreciate y'all watching.